than I thought it was going to be.
It's okay. Hey, man, turn up the house lights.
I've never been a
world
stage. Well,
You got it.
Well, before I moved here, I lived in San Francisco, where we had tons and tons and tons of bums. And to the point where the other day I was walking out of my apartment, where I live on the 3rd floor, and there's just a couple steps up to this little landing, and I walked out the door in the morning, and I was like, I smell a bum, and I ran downstairs. I ran downstairs and I called the realty company, and they went up with a cop, and there had been a bum right there. And I didn't even see him. I was just like, well, I know this, But anyways, so there was a year when I taught 5th grade for a few years, and I had a really rough one year when I had 36 students, which is very unusual these days. And they told me on the first day, we're called the monster class. And we had to order 12 new desks to put them in, and it was just, that kind of year. And by the end of the year, I was so frumpy. We weren't allowed to wear jeans, which would have looked better than what I would put on in the morning. I hate this, whatever. And so that summer, we went to an outlet, and I went to the Gap outlet, and I bought all these teacher clothes, which some people in the audience have seen me in. Wool skirts, tights, all this stuff. So I started dressing up for work. But my car had been stolen, and so I was taking the bus. And on the bus in San Francisco, there's really weird people. I mean, that's just part of the bus experience. But the only bus route where there are no scary, smelly, weird people is the 30X Marina Express. And it goes straight from the financial district to the marina, which is where the yuppies live, and back again during rush hour. And there are no weird, scary, smelly people at all on the bus. And I became really paranoid. I would get on that bus at the end of the route. I lived on Van Ness. For anyone who's been in San Fran, it's Route 1 that goes through the city, but the bus would go into the marina, and then it would come, and the last stop was my stop, and I'd get on. I mean, often super packed. And the people, and then it would just go straight to the finance district, which is why it was called the Marina Express. And it was only during rush hour, and so it was really nice, because you get on, you go straight to where you need to go, and then I had other things to do after that. I got on BART, and then I got another bus, and blah, blah, blah. But, I have an end to the story, don't worry. Just forgot the middle.
What were the people on the
Anyway,
bus
so
like?
the people on the bus were really beautiful. They're just these very polished, very made up, and in really gorgeous suit clothes. Everyone's in black, everybody. But in really, really, really fancy black. And I started feeling man, I get up in the morning and I'm tights, wool skirt, tucked in, button down, super teacher Barbie. And then I get on the bus at 6:15 a.m. to get to my school, which was an hour of public transportation because my car was stolen. And I would just immediately be oh, I'm so frumpy. Because there's all these really beautiful, everyone between the ages of 20 and 33 or whatever, and they're all going to the finance district, and they're all going to work at 6:15 in the morning because of the time difference or whatever with New York, and they're all so beautifully dressed or whatever. So I would leave feeling really cute and get on the bus and be oh, so frumpy. And I didn't really know anyone, but I started talking to this older guy named Joe every day, and he had tons of beer, really good. And so I always had a really hard time understanding what he was saying. And it was when I realized how much I lip read. And so he would always talk about this, and I'd be and I would just be imagining what he would look like with a beard, and I realized he had really long teeth. which I was like, that's why he has a beard. But, and like a mustache, I guess, obviously. So anyways, he was so hard to understand. But the one day when I walked on the bus and I understood exactly what he said and didn't hear him on time, I was like walking up into it, and he was like, "Hi, Jeannie, what is it?" Like this, and he was like, "Why don't you sit next to me?" And I was like, "Huh, Joe, what?" And then I realized, like, I'm sitting next to the only crazy bum that's ever been on the 30X Green Express, and that's why there was a seat available. And anyways, so this crazy bum, I think I missed an important detail, which is that all the girls on this bus wore mad heels, and I do not ever wear high heels, let alone to teach elementary school. And that was one of the things that was always like, because we all had to, like, mostly had to stand up because it was a really packed bus. So it was just like, oh, you know, like one more thing when I get on, I thought like, so cute, and my hush puppies and tights and whatever. And then I get on the boom. And anyway, so I got up on the bus and Joe's like, hey, you know what to do? And I like sat across from him and I was like, oops, got it, smell it. Well, I got it. And so this crazy bum starts talking to me like, oh, nonstop. He's like, I don't know. This is the only thing I remember. Well, there's two things. One will wrap up the story. Don't worry. But the first thing he was like, I don't understand why people say you take a shit when actually you give it. Anyway, so he's like, talking to me the whole time. And I'm like, oh. And anyway, so, someone else said earlier today who sparked this story, the unsure for it. But anyways, I was sitting and I was like, whatever, and finally it was my stop. I was like, okay, bye. And I got up and to leave, and he like looks down and he's like, and thank you for wearing reasonable shoes. And I was like, yay! That's the end.